Welcome back to the Workbench After Hours, episode 127.
In this week's episode, we are going to talk about EDC. Yes, everyday carry. You would think us being gun guys and I owning a gun business, we would have some crazy expensive tactical cool stuff and have everything. But we'll tell you what we actually have and use because we kind of go on the practical route. We're also going to talk about Canada and their new gun ban, so stay tuned. All right, Chris, so what is the whiskey of the week for this episode?
We are drinking 1835 is what it looks like. Single barrel. Yeah, it is 1835. Their script up here was, I was looking at that. I was like, is that an 8, a 5, or 3? So 1835 single barrel bourbon.
Texas Lone Star. So I picked this up when I was down in Dallas area for work. I was down there. I was in like the Lewisville, Colony, Texas area. And like, I need to bring back some Texas stuff that we can't find up here.
Funny thing is, it's distilled in Kentucky.
I know. So I went to a Specs. Specs is kind of a big, it's almost like Total Wine up here. Specs is kind of the same thing down there. And I think because I could not find anything about this online anywhere, I think it might be distilled specifically for Specs, maybe a couple other places. So there's not like a distillery that makes just this or anything. So
yeah, because the back doesn't have anything crazy. It's bottled in Texas, but it's distilled in Kentucky is what it says.
Yeah. This is the single barrel. There was the regular, like 90%. The guy said, that one's okay. The single barrel is a lot better. So I'm like, all right, we'll try this.
Well, maybe it's better. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. But it was like $47, so nothing too crazy. It was hard to find, like, because they had a lot of stuff that we could find up here. And there was a lot of other stuff. I'm like, I just don't know.
Yeah.
And I've never seen or heard of. And the guy I was talking to was like, I would stick to this. And I got another one over there too that's a little bit higher that we'll try in another podcast. But yeah, as far as anything about it, couldn't find it. It's bottled by somebody, by Lone Star something in Lewisville, Texas. Couldn't find anything on the people that bottle it or anything.
All it says is Texas is known for come and take it.
Yes. Definitely getting some caramel, maybe some oaky spices on there.
It has a lot of spice. That's what I'm getting. Ooh.
Yeah. A little sweetness up front, and then as you keep breathing in, you start getting the spiciness there. So it's kind of like, I would say, like a dark amber color almost.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long it's aged for or anything like that. All I know is it's 100 proof, bottle 161 of barrel 1823.
That's so me.
So it's limited release, single barrel bourbon whiskey. So we'll see. Man, is this a rye?
Whew. I was letting it sit on the front end. I had a lot of vanilla.
Yeah, there's like sweetness initially, and then it's like you get all the spice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a longer finish.
Oh, it's
like
a long finish. Yeah.
That, man, to me, that's like a rye.
Yeah.
Almost.
That's what, yeah.
It's not, but.
No. But that back end is just spice and heat.
Which I kind of,
it's not
like
bad. But up front, I'm getting that. I get like a vanilla flavor and the caramel. And
yeah. I mean, it's 100 proof. Does it kind of drinks like 100 proof? I mean, it's not like.
Yeah, but it's pretty. After you get past the initial heat and spice, it's pretty smooth. It's like there and gone quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's kind of like a vanilla caramel up front, followed by like spice that like tingles your tongue almost. I like it.
It's not bad.
I have a feeling that spiciness will go away once we put it on the rocks, but man, I could drink it just like this.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I like it. I can definitely see why this would be better than probably the regular 90 proof.
Yeah.
That's not a single barrel. I like this. My chest is starting to burn a little bit.
Yeah. Pretty good for the outdoors. This would be a good winter one.
Yeah. Yeah. So I finally found for our 100th episode, I made a whiskey list of everything that we've tried in every episode. For the longest time, I could not find what I did with that list, and I finally found it. So I got a list of everything up to episode 100. Just got to go back and figure out what we had the last 26 episodes. Yeah, there's a lot. So it's getting to the point to where unless we spend a lot of money, it's going to be really hard.
Yeah.
To kind of find stuff we haven't tried unless we go like bottom shelf.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot.
Or branch out into like other states and stuff like that. So obviously I got some other stuff that we picked up in Kentucky and we can try. But
I got a couple sitting at home that we need to try.
Yes. and you got me for my birthday a Bradshaw one. So it's a Terry Bradshaw one where he just kind of, I guess, endorses.
Yeah.
But the model looks pretty cool. So, all right. So EDC, if you don't know what that stands for, which you probably do, as if you're watching this, everyday carry. So it is different for everybody. You know, in our niche, we're in a gun niche, so ours is probably weapons related and stuff like that for self-defense. You got other stuff like I watch to learn about how to do all this video stuff and audio. You know, you have photographers and everything that do videos on EDC, which is kind of funny because you're looking at their EDC and it's like, definitely not what I would be doing. Like, oh, I carry this camera, and you know, some of them have knives and stuff like that, but it's more camera lenses and stuff like that what they carry with them.
Yeah.
Us being a gun channel, firearms business, we're going to talk about self-defense options that we carry and things to kind of be prepared.
Yeah.
So, forewarn you, it's nothing too crazy. We're not tactical cool.
Yeah.
You know, if cargo pants were a thing and in style, maybe I would carry a little bit more on me, but it's not. So, I like to carry the least amount as possible. Like, I don't want to be uncomfortable and bulgy. Like, I don't want stuff bulging in my pockets it's annoying.
That's the way I am. I try to keep it minimalistic.
So, I'm kind of always changing mine. Are you? Or are you kind of stuck where you're at?
I mean, the only thing I really change up anymore is my knives. I got so many different knives. So I'll change up those quite a bit on a daily basis. And then, but I usually, if I'm going out in town and I know I can't carry my pistol, I always use one knife.
Yeah. So it's been a journey. So I started getting into guns in 2013, 2014. So that's when I kind of started getting into guns and learning what everyday carry was, other than, you know, a pocket knife and stuff like that. From what I had back then to what I kind of do now, and my mindset completely different.
Yeah.
And probably just like all of you guys out there, because with me and a lot of people out there too, you think the smallest gun possible is the one that you want to carry with you all the time. And it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to print. You don't want people to know. You want a small gun to easily carry, lightweight. But when it comes to shooting that thing accurate, it's not. So you definitely want there is no perfect handgun or perfect gun in general to carry. Yeah. There's no perfect holster out there. It's going to vary on you and your wardrobe and probably the season.
Yep.
So you'll see I kind of have different things for different seasons depending on where I'm at, what I'm doing, and all this stuff. But that's kind of what I've learned. I'm like, maybe I'll just get the one gun. That's going to be my everyday carry forever. Well,
I
turns
know
out
when it goes to summer, I switch it up.
Yes. It's a lot easier to carry, you know, bigger guns and more stuff in the wintertime versus the summertime.
Yep.
Especially if you want to conceal that stuff and not print. So the first gun that I ever bought to conceal carry was a Car CM9.
Yeah.
And just because I bought it cheap, I bought it without shooting it, which was stupid. And because I didn't know any better, I bought it on Gunbroker for like a really great deal. I mean, it's not an expensive gun anyway. I got it. I'm like, all right, well, this thing, it was a stainless steel slide, but had a polymer frame. And when I took it apart, I'm like, this looks like somebody, this is before 3D printing, but it looks like now somebody maybe 3D printed it because it did not look well put together. And so I ended up taking it to the range, not realizing it was a double action, first of all, which I hate shooting a double action. And then it was so small, it was snappy. It was a 9mm, so it was snappy. And I just double action all the time. There was no single action on it, and I just hated it.
Yeah.
So I got the holster for it. I'm like, yeah, this is going to be perfect. And then I shot it. I'm like, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I quickly got rid of that. What was your first carry gun?
My first one was, the Ruger is one of them. And then, because I bought the Ruger and this Taurus 709 Slim. So I like the 709 because it was 9mm, and the Ruger was just too small. But I still carry the Ruger. But yeah, there's a Taurus 709 Slim.
Okay.
And I still have it. It sits in the safe. But that's more like, I think if the wife wants to use that one, that's what I'll put in her vehicle eventually. But
gotcha. Yeah, and vehicle gun is different too. Like I got a certain one for that in the way to store it, which I'll show you. The next one I ended up going to after that was obviously Glock 26, and I still have that as my carry gun. That's more of my winter carry gun, and kind of if I'm traveling somewhere, I'll throw that but that's kind of being phased out now with the Hellcat Pro that we'll talk about. But for a long time, it was the Glock 26 Gen 4 I had. And I still love that gun. Now it's to the point to where there's thinner guns that hold more rounds that are a little bit lighter weight.
Yeah.
So like the Hellcat Pro. I don't know. I still love that gun. I got a bunch of holsters for it. I don't ever plan on selling that gun. It's awesome. It was a really good winter carry gun.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're wearing a hoodie or a Carhartt jacket, something like that. I traveled a lot, so I would always bring that with me. So, and then I also got years ago, a Smith & Wesson 642, the airweight model. It's like the snub nose model, 38. Yeah. I mean, it's a cool gun, but not to carry. And like a revolver, revolver, you don't have to worry about it failing on you, but you're limited on rounds, and the reload takes forever if you're not Jerry Mikulek or whatever. So yeah, and it's trying to find a holster for a small revolver like that was difficult. So I just got one that was like those sticky holsters that covers it up. There's no belt clip, but it sticks in your waistline and kind of sticks there, and that worked. But with the revolver, it's thicker because of the cylinder.
Yep.
And
just uncomfortable.
Yeah, I changed out the grips to these cool grips, but then they were slippery. And so I'm like, I kept that gun for a while, but I didn't carry it very often because I'm like, all right, this isn't practical.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So now, fast forward, I tried a bunch of different guns. I still have a handful of them and some other stuff, but Chris, we'll start with you. What is your go-to guns? Probably like anybody else, you kind of go through a couple.
So go-to gun right now is the Glock 19.
Okay.
So this is my everyday carry.
What gen is that?
Gen 3.
Gen 3?
Yep.
Full flat dark earth for those that are listening audio only?
With a Timney Alpha trigger.
Nice.
So that's my everyday carry, especially for winter, because I like wearing hoodies a lot, and I got thicker Carhartt coats that I wear. And then in the summertime, I switched to my Ruger LCB Custom. It's in a phone case.
Nice.
So kind of conceals it pretty good.
You just look like an old dad walking around with a phone case.
Yeah, I mean, just give me my New Balances and I'll be good. Right. But it's a Ruger LCP Custom, little 380.
Yep.
So that's usually what I carry in the summertime, just because it's put on the belt loop. No one will know. They think it's a phone because I got the magazine sticking up. So
do you pull your shirt over it or just have your shirt kind of tucked on top?
I have it over it.
Gotcha.
And then I usually appendix carry the Glock.
Okay.
So
what holster do you have for the 19?
The 19 is actually a Blackhawk.
Okay.
So
nice.
I like it. I can add more stuff to it. So like if I want an extra magazine on there, it came with like this whole kit with it, and I got it actually on sale at like Bushnell Outlet, and I was like, because I was going with that, and then a clips holster I used for a little bit, but this one does, I don't know, it feels better on my belt.
Right.
So
yeah, you're probably going to go through a ton of different holsters trying to find the right one. There is no right one, but there's so many out there.
Yeah.
Depending on the type of belt and like what pants you're wearing, one's going to be good for that, but then you're going to need another one. Like leather was pretty popular, but now it seems like Kydex is kind of the thing now. And then there were holsters where it had double belt clips, and those were a lot larger. Like I started off with really getting into alien gear holsters. Yep. And they had a lot of cool stuff, but they had it was like I don't know if it was leather. It might have been leather or something similar to that, but kind of that goes across your body. But it had belt clips on both sides, and then a Kydex holster where your actual gun goes to. So it was kind of
That's what I had for that Ruger LCB Custom. That's what I had originally, and it just felt uncomfortable. Like, because it had like a little, I don't know, like a little shark fin on it. And it kept my sides all the time just sitting right or walking just right. And it's like, fuck, this is not comfortable. So
okay. Hollow points, right?
Yep.
You know what you have?
Hornady. I don't remember which one, but
okay. Yeah. That's my favorite go-to.
And usually what I like to do too, I'll do like the first 5 hollow points, and then I'll start alternating between regular and hollow.
Okay. Just cause?
Yeah, just cause.
All right.
I do that for that and my home defense gun.
Okay.
That's in my nightstand.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, Hornady is what I have in all of mine. I can't remember which one it is, but it's the one with that filler, like the plastic filler. Because if you have just a regular hollow point and you're shooting somebody with a bunch of clothes on, the clothes can get stuck inside the hollow point and not break apart like it should. Well, the one with Hordene with the one with the plastic filler will keep that from happening. So that way, when it hits clothing, that doesn't like get all caught up in the fragment. So it's going to actually perform like it should and not get, I don't know. There's a lot of science stuff to it. It made sense to me. So that's what I use. And I tried out in every gun before I, carry it too much. I make sure it's going to handle that ammunition, and it does. I've never had a gun not like that brand.
Yeah. I know the Ruger is very finicky on ammo.
Yeah.
The little 380. I don't understand why. And everyone I've talked to with the 380 has the same issue. They got to find very specific brand ammo for it. It's weird.
Yeah, it's kind of like, same thing with like a 22.
Yeah.
Go down to that. It's going to be really finicky on it. It's just not as much power.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah. All right. So got a gun carried on you. What else you got?
Got a couple knives. So this is my Benchmade. That's called the Pagan. It's a front assist.
Okay.
This is the one, if I can't carry a gun, this one goes with me everywhere because it just slides into the belt loop. It's sleek. It's slim. I love this knife. This is my favorite knife.
Nice.
And then my other knife is just like a little Gerber, but it's got like a little razor blade box cutter, but it's so small.
Yeah, it looks pretty thin.
Yeah. So, and it's tiny.
Nice.
So
with that first knife,
yeah.
What are these called again?
They're front spring assisted or something.
Weren't these like called automatics at one point in time?
So some states, they can't sell these.
Okay.
So
yeah, and they're legal here though, right?
Yeah, they're legal here.
So I had one. It was like a Cobra brand or something like that. Really cool. It was like $80. Knives can get expensive, as you know. And it was like that. I'm like, this thing's awesome. But I was like, what happens if like I fling it out and it hits something? So I held it up to something to where it would like hit it before it came all the way out. I broke it.
I've done that to this one a lot, and it just like stops it.
Yeah.
And it gets all loose, but then I just fling it forward and it's back to normal.
Yeah. I did that the first couple times, and then like once you fling it forward, it like the springs catch or something.
Yeah, but
now I can't get that.
I think this knife was $450.
Oh, well, there you go.
So
you get what you pay for.
Yeah, at that point.
Yeah, I kept trying to. It would catch for a little while, but then as soon as I put it back, it would just shake in the handle.
Yeah.
And so I took it apart, got it to where I thought was fixed, and then it would just. I can never. I'm like, man, what a waste of $80. I'm an idiot for trying to do that, but it's like I want to see what happens if like it hits something before it fully comes out. Well, it turns out
it still hits. It still hits, and like I've had like a wood desk at work, and I play with it all the time. It sticks it, but
maybe I just had a limit or something. I don't know.
Maybe, but yeah, it's a Benchmade. I love it. That's my favorite knife to carry. I usually got multiple different knives, but if I got to go out where I can't carry a gun and I know I can, I'm grabbing that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I would say at minimum, I'm going to carry a pocket knife on me. Yeah. Even in the summertime. I don't carry a gun all the time just because, if we're going somewhere out drinking.
Yeah. You don't want that.
I don't want to carry a gun with me. Yeah. Yeah. So usually it's mostly a pocket knife. Yep. So what else? Anything else you carry on you?
Well, here lately I've been doing flashlights. This one is an O-light. It's got a laser pointer. It's freaking fun. And it's got a UV light and a regular flashlight. And then I can go like a strobe light.
That almost looks like a small remote.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. And I mean, it's about the same size as my knife too. And like thickness and everything too. Right. So I love it. And the battery on it's great.
So it's O-light. Do you know what the model number is on that?
I don't.
Okay. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. Freaking amazing.
I love O-light. And as you'll see, I got several O-light stuff. I got them on my home defense gun. Like, I love O-light.
Yeah, like I carry that thing everywhere.
Yep. Okay.
So
what else we got?
And then my wallets. So I was a big fan of Ridge. And I love them. I still love these wallets, but I've been switching it up because I carry cash every once in a while, and I like to not have my money fall out on me. Right. So I eventually switched to this. This is I think I got it from Coach. So, and it's got like a little inside spot where my money can actually sit, and it's sandwiched, so I know it won't fall out.
All right. Nice.
So
cool.
That's pretty much what I carry every day.
Any spare mags that you carry on you?
No.
Okay.
If I have to, then we're in trouble.
Yeah, if you got to go through all especially if you're carrying the Glock 19. Yeah, you're in trouble. And, there's a lot of people out there that carry spare magazines, whether it's in the same holster or they'll carry it on the other side of them. It's like, man, I don't want all that weight on me. I don't want all that stuff on me. Like you said, if you're in trouble if you can't get him with that Glock 19.
Yeah.
But yeah, as much as I would like to carry everything,
you
just can't. It's not practical. It's not comfortable. Again, the cargo pants we're in, maybe, but they're not.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. Well, so that's your kind of summer, winter carry items. Nice. So with me, I got a few different things that I'll show you, and I travel a lot for work. Like I drive places a lot, so you're going to see mine's a little bit geared towards that because with my job, I can't actually carry on me. I'm not supposed to have it in the vehicle, but I say screw that. I at least keep it in the vehicle, so I won't carry on my person at work, but I will have a gun in the vehicle just because I go to a lot of not so nice areas of town, and I'm like, hey, if I got to use this in a self-defense scenario, I'd rather save my life and lose my job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But one of the first things I have, and it's really cool, it's from Eclipse Holsters. It's a dump tray.
Yeah.
So this is where all the EDC goes, is inside this dump tray. And they have different sizes. You could customize them just like your holsters to pretty much anything. So I ended up getting one of these, and I got it. I'm like, man, that thing is cool. Freaking love it. So started off, got a dump tray.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different brands and stuff that make this kind of stuff too.
A bigger one because I got like a little plate at home. I just set it in.
Yeah. So when it comes to pocket knives, I have two, and really, I don't know. I just kind of switch between the two. The first one I got as a graduation gift, I think for high school. So it's old. It was like 2005.
Jeez.
It is a Spyderco police model knife. Okay. And they still make these. They're like $200 knives. So they're not cheap. And it's cool because it's got my initials engraved in it and everything. But it's just a side folding knife. I don't know a whole lot about knives, but they get crazy. It's just your typical one that side folds, and it's got that button that you press on the handle to fold it back in. So it's nothing that, I mean, you probably could flick it out fast, but the thing about this knife, it is sharp as hell. I've only sharpened this thing once since 2005.
Yeah.
This knife scares me because it's so freaking sharp. Like it has the serrated edges there and just comes to a crazy point. Like if I want to open up packages and crap like this or like cut down boxes, I use this thing because it
just goes right through.
It does the freaking job. But man, I scare myself when I'm opening it and closing it. Like I've poked myself with the tip a lot and gave myself some hand cuts. Yeah, it definitely, it's a scary knife, but man, it is sharp and really cool. So I wasn't sure if they still made this model, but they do. So it's the police model by Spyderco. Nice. This is just a stainless steel one. It's got a belt clip. So I don't know. Would you say that's probably
it's thin.
6 inches long, folded up?
Oh, yeah.
So it's maybe still doable. You know, when I'm wearing those dry fit shorts, probably don't take this one because it'll kind of stick out. But jeans, stuff like that, perfect for, man, this would work well in a self-defense situation. But also just everyday need for a knife. Yeah. Love that thing. So definitely recommend Spyderco Police. And then just for a knife, you know, I could care less about, but it still works as an everyday one, is an SOG Flashback 2. So you've probably gone to Academy and everything and seen the SOG brand stuff. Yep. This one I actually don't carry in the stores. I bought this back in like 2014 and 15, and it's like, I like it. So it's, again, side folded, and it's got, I forget the technical terms of the shape of the knife and everything, but no serrations, but it does kind of come to a point.
Yeah.
It's got like a black finish on the blade and everything. And what I liked about it is it has kind of like a safety. So if like, you know, when you have it folded down and you don't want to accidentally flick it open, because, you know, I'm always fidgeting, it's got a safety on there that's easily, you know, you can press it side to side and it comes off and easy. So I really like that. And then it just flips out really quick. And then this one, instead of having that push button, it's got like this little, I don't know, what you call that? Like almost like a lever that you push down and then it folds. And then it's got like this, these
little indentations for your get a grip on it.
Yeah, it's got these things that stick out that you can put your thumbs on there and get it to flip out really quick. So this is one that's good if you are in a pinch and you need it out really quick.
Yeah,
it flips out real quick. So I always am just sitting there playing with that. And so yeah, so this thing's cool. I've had it forever. SOG Flashback 2. It's I don't know. It's just, it it works. Is it the best, sharpest knife out there? No. But once, you know, you have this thing sharpened, it stays sharpened for a while. And I think this one I've definitely sharpened a lot more than the Spyderco. But it's lightweight, definitely a lot lighter than the Spyderco. So this is definitely a good summer carry one. So those are the two I just kind of switch back and forth between. While we pause there, what do you think of the whiskey on the rocks?
It calmed down quite a bit on the rocks, but
yeah, definitely took a lot of that spice away. But you still get the sweetness up front.
Yeah,
and it definitely does not finish
like it did
on your tongue.
No.
Yeah. Do you want any more? Are you good?
I'm good right now.
Cool. All right, so flashlights, I don't carry them on me because I want the least amount of stuff on my person as possible. But I will carry them in my vehicle, and I actually use these for work too. So I got 2 different O-lights. So these always stay in my vehicle and in my tool belt for work and all that, but they're both O-lights.
Yep.
So again, I love O-lights. The one, I actually have 2 of these. They're the M2T Warrior ones, and these things are freaking bright as hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's got a few different modes, but if you have this on the highest setting,
it blinds you.
It is bright as hell. It has a strobe on there, obviously, but I use this if I got to go into a house that has no power, especially if I got to go down to a basement.
Yeah.
Man, turn this thing on, and it'll light the whole freaking place up. And it does get a little bit warm, but as you expect. But yeah, so this is probably my favorite O-light flashlight, the M2T Warrior. These things are freaking bright and awesome. So you could easily, I could put that in my pocket, especially jeans, and carry that around, but I typically don't. But the other thing I do is I have several pouches. So this is a small little pouch, probably the size of my hand, and it's probably Maxpedition or something like that. But what I carry in here, so I keep this in my glove box at all times. I got, a tire gauge or whatever, but one thing I have is another flashlight that I carry, an O-light. This is a USB chargeable one, so there's no actual battery that you take in and out like the Warrior one. This is the SR1 batten, and this thing, for as small as it is, probably 3 inches.
Oh yeah,
man, this thing gets pretty dang bright too. Several different modes, so this would be a good one to carry on your person. Super small, but I actually keep that in this pack, where I have inside this pack just a couple generic other pocket knives. I have some hand warmers. I got like this Swiss Army knife kind of thing. It's not an army knife, but it's like this Griffin pocket tool. It's got a bunch of different stuff. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife, just without the handle and everything. So just something, because you never know.
Yeah.
I have my get home bag that I took out, and I'm trying to redo. So in the meantime, this is kind of what I use. I have some hand warmers in there because it is wintertime, stuff like that. Got a small screwdriver set, and then one of these seatbelt cutters.
Yeah. And
then so it cuts the seatbelt and then breaks out a window. So in case anything happens, I have that. And I think that's pretty much in there. So this thing's cool. This looks like a credit card, and it's a little bit thicker than a credit card, but the same size. But it has a compass, a magnifying glass. It's got a knife that pulls out of there. That thing is actually pretty dang sharp. And on the other side, so it's got little measurement tools on the side, and a bottle opener there too.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. I forgot where I got that and what brand it is. I got a bunch of these kind of things. My dad bought me one that is like super thin, and I actually keep that in my wallet. And it's kind of the same thing. It's got all these multi-tools on it, but it's the size of a wallet. So that's pretty cool. So this is just something I carry with me in my truck every day. And then when I want to take a firearm with me, but I can't carry it on my person for work or whatever, or if I'm traveling and, I don't want to have it on me, and if I'm going through states where it gets a little funky with their case, I have a Maxpedition hard case right here. It's probably, what is that, like 9x9, 9x6? It's pretty small.
Yeah.
So Maxpedition makes great stuff. That is what I have for my basically a get home bag that I need to do a video on. It's pretty cool. But this is made specifically to hold a gun. So it's Velcro inside, and there's like a Velcro holster in there. So if you don't have a holster or anything, you could just stick it in there, and it's got a spot there where it actually holds an extra magazine. Oh, nice. So I'll pull the gun out there and kind of show the camera if you're watching this on YouTube, but it's got a holster and it fits most guns. It's adjustable because of the Velcro in there. So that strap is adjustable and then has the extra magazine that is adjustable too. So this is a pack that I've had forever. When I traveled a lot, I always bring this into hotel rooms and stuff. And, you know, to the average person,
it just looks like a normal bag.
Yeah, it looks like a normal bag. Doesn't look like much, but it's meant to hold a gun. And it can hold other stuff in there too. But I typically keep this on me. Like if like I said, traveling somewhere, don't want to have the gun on my person or can't for whatever reason, but I still want to have a gun within my easy access. Yeah. Bring this. Like when we traveled to Kentucky, this is what I put it in. And then this is easy to throw in a backpack or something like that. So I had my Glock 26 in here for the longest time. And recently, since I've switched over to the Hellcat, use that for here. So that's why it's in here, because this is what I carried with me today at work. So I just took my Hellcat, threw it in here, threw it in my laptop bag. And
yeah, it's crazy how finicky some companies are.
Yeah.
Like, I know mine, they allow it, but if you go in like a vehicle, you gotta have you have to purchase your own safe, have your own key for it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, if I'm gonna carry it, I'm not gonna put it in a safe,
right?
And I'm just gonna carry it on me, and you're not gonna know.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
So, my newer everyday carry pistol is the Hellcat Pro. Right here. Yep. Thing's awesome. I freaking love it. I will unload it. Like I said, I have the Hordany hollow points with that. See that
little real plastic on it?
Yeah. Whether it's plastic or wax, I think it's plastic. But I love that ammo. And that's the 15-round flush magazine. And inside of that, I have it in the Eclipse holsters. Holster. I forgot what model this is, but that's I forgot what color that's called.
Flat dark earth almost.
It's not flat dark earth. It's something
like
close to that
or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's what I use. I have this holster, and so far so good. You know, with the holidays, my belt's gotten a lot tighter, so that's why I carry it in that bag. But this has been a good holster. I've probably my second one. Yeah. And then my wife has one too, but she just kind of carries it in her purse. But so if I want to carry it on my person, this is what I use. It's got the Uniclip on there, so it makes it super easy. I'm not one of those people that want to run a belt loop through there or have multiple things. This is thin, it's Kydex, does the job. You know, if you wanted to get crazy, the Alien Gear holster one, because you also got to think, do you want the gun pressing against your skin, your body? And that's when the leather stuff that kind of goes around comes in handy, but I don't know. I've tried those and it's just not comfortable. Yeah. Carrying a gun in general is not comfortable.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
So that I will also throw in there. So that's kind of my everyday carry stuff. But as we discussed, I've gone through a whole bunch of different guns and holsters. So going back to my Glock 26, I still carry that. And I usually will kind of switch between the Hellcat and this gun just because, you know. But I keep the Glock 26 in the sticky holster. I talked about I had this with the revolver. I also love this thing because sometimes you just want something a little bit softer and not a belt clip and something to easily get in and out. Sticky holsters are cool. You know, they're not the most stable things like that, but it just works. Yeah. And I'll used to use this to travel and put it in that Maxpedition pouch. Works just as good. Problem is, this gun is about the same weight as the Hellcat Pro. Thicker, it holds less rounds.
That's crazy.
Although the only pro is that the handle is a little bit shorter. Yeah. So if you don't want to have a longer handle, that's why I go with the Glock 26. What I had carried in between these two is the Glock 43. Yeah. So I thought I loved the Glock 43 because it's, you know, when it came out, it's like, oh my God, a single stack lock. Awesome. Yeah. And then it's like, it's a single stack lock. So it does not hold I think it holds 6+1. So it's not very good. It's kind of like a revolver. You're kind of stuck there. But this was my summer carry for a long time because it is super thin, obviously, but then you lose the capacity on there. But I had it custom made, or not custom made, I had custom Cerakoted. So I did the burnt bronze on the slide and then the magazine extension there, and then put the Trijicon night sights on there. Yeah. So this thing is like, it's for sale. but it's on their website. But I don't know. If nobody buys it, I'm not going to be hurt about it. But what I actually did with this is because it was so thin and light, I got an Alien Gear ankle holster for it. And obviously this would be how I carried it in the wintertime because I always wear boots and boot-cut jeans. So the thing, if you've ever ankle carried, it takes some getting used to because it doesn't feel like it's that much weight. But once you put more weight on one leg and walk around, it's weird. Yeah. It takes some getting, like it doesn't, I'm like that.
It's almost like you got to go buy ankle weights to make it even out on both sides.
I know. I'm like, that's not going to be a big deal. But then you actually set it up that way and start walking. You're like, well, this is awkward.
Yeah.
So I never got used to that. So I don't use this setup that much anymore, but it is something I did and is an option if you want to, because not everybody wants it in their waist or anything like that. Depending on what you're doing, where you are, ankle is a way to go, or maybe as a backup. Maybe get something like your little LCP custom over there would be a good ankle one because it's a lot smaller, so you don't have as much weight throwing off your balance and stuff. So that's kind of what I carry a wallet, but I'm not cool like Chris. I just carry an old man's wallet because,
Well, the only reason I switched that type of wallet, I used to do like the trifolds and everything and the bifolds, but I had a lot of lower back problems, and the chiropractor did like x-rays, and he's like, why your hips are tilted, right? And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, it's your wallet. You're sitting on it, so it's tilting it. He's like, I recommend getting a different type of wallet or moving it to your front pocket. So that's why I switched to Ridge. And then I have like 3 or 4 different type of Ridge wallets. I've used those for years, and I love them. But I was like, man, I kind of want something that holds my money in, because here lately I've been carrying cash more. So I was like, I don't want my money falling out and being like, shit, I just lost. I don't know how much money I just had.
Exactly.
So that's why I switched to that. When I was going holiday shopping, I saw it and I was like, it's on sale. It's 70% off plus another 25. That's doable.
Yeah.
So
I just have the old man trifold wallet. Yeah. Has a specific spot for money. It's just,
I mean, the hardest thing for me when I did switch to the Ridge was I was always forgetting where I put it. Mm-hmm. So, and then I didn't have anything on it. So I had to like always either just keep it in my pockets or I put it on my tray. That's it.
Right.
Because I've lost it like 3 or 4 times where I leave it at work all the time. So that's why I kind of switched to this a little bit bigger, but it's still flat.
Yeah. And then obviously we have our phones on us just like everybody else. But again, I don't carry a spare mag because I just,
if I got to use it, then I'm in bigger trouble than I need to be in.
Yeah. And are we ever probably going to need this? Probably not, but you just never know. But I don't want to be weighed down and have all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I want to be comfortable, but
prepared.
Yeah. That's why flashlight, could I carry it on my person? Yes, but nah.
Yeah, I just do it because I also, at work, I'm always using a flashlight. So that one's perfect. It's small, thin.
Like when I'm at work, like I'll have it clipped to the outside of my pocket. But then once I get back to my truck and I'm done, I throw it back in the tool bag. But it's nice and good for home defense. So I got one of these just in our bedroom to use for walking around the house in case the power goes out or somebody breaks in. You want a flashlight, want to light it up. And then I got a really cool O-light on my Glock. Actually, it's back here on the wall. You can kind of see it's a little blurred out, but it's I forget the model of it, but it is a gun. It's a pistol mount flashlight, but it also has a laser on it. It's really cool. I love it.
Yeah, I liked Streamlight for a while. That's what I was using for but it's bulky and round too. But I got that, and I was like, man, this is pretty sweet. It's flat.
Yep. Well, and the O-light stuff, like Streamlight and like all those, the other brand is great.
Yeah.
But it's expensive.
It is. I got my Streamlight when I was in the service. They gave it to us. I was like, awesome.
O-light is not the cheapest, but it's also not the most expensive. It's kind of like in the middle, but their stuff has been really good. I drop these flashlights all the freaking time, and they still work. Yeah. I had a through night flashlight, which was really cool, and that was before I got into O-lights, and it was bright as hell too. I dropped it, and it has never worked the same. And I mean, these things they're supposedly aircraft grade aluminum or whatever. And for flashlights, they're pretty light. Yeah. You know those mag lights back in the day?
The big old, I still got one, I think.
I think I finally threw ours away. I'm like, maybe I'll keep this just as a blunt force object to beat somebody with. But no, the output on those were so horrible.
Yeah.
And
even with like an LED upgrade on them.
Yeah. You know, back in the day, cool. That was your flashlight, and that's okay. This is as good as it gets. Whatever is what we're used to. But now that we got these bright ass flashlights, I'm like, I'm never gonna use this thing again. So I just
I've always got that Streamlight. I also have a Coast that I use a lot too. I use that mostly when I'm camping because it like I can pull it apart and it has like a slide and it's magnetic base. So I can just stick it up on the tent. And use it as like a little night light too for the kids.
There you go.
It's nice. It also has a red light for nighttime.
So so that's our everyday carry.
Yeah.
Probably nothing exciting, but it's practical. And could we carry Dan and Wessons or freaking these most expensive guns? Probably. But again, if you have to use it in self-defense situation, you're not going to get that gun back.
No.
And I don't want to carry an expensive gun. Hell, I mean, $500 is expensive, and that's about what these were. Probably a little bit over that, but you don't need it. And that's what I like about Glocks is they work.
Yep.
Are they the prettiest?
No.
No. Do they have the most functionality and all the bells and whistles? No. They work.
Yep. That's all you need. Something to run when you need it.
Yes, you want something reliable and something that's going to work. It's a Glock. Same thing with the Springfields. I have never had an issue with the Springfield. I don't think I've ever had an issue with any of my guns, really.
I've never had one.
Yeah. So, if you hate these brands and carry something else, more power to you. If you like it, great. That's what you want. You want something that you're going to be comfortable with, that you like. And if you like the bells and whistles, and that's fine. Carry that stuff. It's cool. The Canics, man, they've come out with some really cool stuff. They have some options that are, that you can conceal too, but it comes with a little more bells and whistles at a more affordable price. But they just don't have the test that Glock's gone through since late 1980s.
I did see a crazy test though, and it's kind of making me want to go to an MP. Smith and Wesson. Yeah.
Like that one back
that you had
in my safe.
Yeah.
Hey.
So they did a test. It was like a freeze test, and the guy always carried his Glock.
Okay.
And they freezed both of them for like, I don't know, and then they went to go shoot them.
Yeah.
The Glock did not fire.
Really?
But the MP did. And the guy was like in complete and utter shock.
What? Do you know what model it was?
I think it was the MP 2.0.
Really?
Yeah.
I love that.
I know. That's one of my guns that I was like, it was between that or the Glock 19. And you bought the freaking Glock 19 and Flat Dark Earth.
Well,
it's like, look what I just got in.
Yeah. I've never owned a Glock 19, but I've owned, a Glock, obviously 43, 42, a bunch of different Glock models. I've never owned the 19, but that's because I have a Springfield in about that same size that I love.
Yeah.
And it's worn in, but it's worn in to where it works. It's nice and smooth and all this stuff. I don't know. I just don't have a Glock 19. Would I love one? Yes, but I mean, this Hellcat Pro is not much smaller.
Yeah.
And it holds about the same amount of rounds, if not more, if I want to put in a flush or extension. However, with that Glock 19 behind me, which you can't see because YouTube would, not like it, but there's a certain size magazine back there that
I can use.
you could also throw in there if you wanted to be crazy.
Yeah.
And have 33 of those pew-pews. Can't do that with the other gun. So that's what I like about the Glock 19 is they'll take...
Yeah.
And with that 26 is what I liked, is I can use... What I would do is I would carry the Glock 19 like flush mag, but I would have the extension. But I would also, in another bag, in a different backpack, I would have a Glock 19 mag filled. And then, if I wanted to, I could put that 33 around there. But that was cool because I'm like, well, yes, it's Glock 26. It's not supposed to, really carry it with the 19 round mag. But I'm like, if I'm somewhere a long ways from home in SHTF, I want to have as much rounds. So that's why I carried some extra Glock 19 mags, even though I had the Glock 26.
Yeah.
I love that. With the other models of guns, you don't have that interchangeability quite as easy.
Yeah.
But Glock is kind of screwing you when they're coming out with their Gen 5s that aren't compatible with older magazines, which sucked. But the Gen 4s would accept anything.
Yeah. Stupid Glock.
I know. That's why, my favorite gens of the Glocks are the Gen 3s and Gen 4s.
I like the Gen 3 just because of the finger grooves.
Yes.
I think that's the most comfortable thing. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. Everybody's different. But yeah, I'm like you. You know, even though I got a Gen 4 26, I still have the finger grooves.
Yeah.
It's only 2 of them, but still. Yeah.
But I like having that finger groove. It's good.
A lot of people carry 1911s. Great.
Yeah.
Hey, carry whatever you carry. If you like it, more power to you. This is just what we carry, and we like it. Yeah, it's always changing and probably will continue to change. Like I said, I've been looking at those leak knives and everything, and sure this Hellcat Pro will stick around for a while, but you never know. Something else might pop up, or maybe I'll go back to the 26 or 43 if it doesn't sell.
Just depends on the day and the mood, I guess.
Exactly. If you guys have anything that you find really cool that you like to carry and maybe different that you don't see a lot of people doing, let us know down in the comment section if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening audio only, which I think most people listen to audio only, feel free to jump over to YouTube, jump in the comments, or go to our website, boomstick-tactical.com. Leave us a voicemail on there, pretty quick and easy, and just talk about what your EDC is, why you like it, and how it works. And if you are one of those guys that carries the kitchen sink, hey, that's cool. If I could, I would.
Yeah.
Trust me, if I could carry a sword on me and like everything else, I would, but it's not practical.
Yeah.
I do in my vehicle, I do also carry a baton. Because when that whole George Floyd thing was going on and like there were all the riots everywhere, it was happening here, and I'm like, well, what happens if legally, if you get caught in a swarm of people like beating on your vehicle and all this stuff, like, can you shoot them? I don't know. So I bought a baton.
Yeah.
And my wife bought one for my mother-in-law. And, my wife ended up carrying that in her purse, and I got her a stun gun. I'm like, I don't need a stun gun. If I need that, I'm going to shoot you. But another thing I carry in my vehicle just because is a baton.
Yeah.
Just in case I don't want to use deadly force, I'll still beat the shit out of you with it. Because I don't know cool karate moves. I don't know any cool self-defense moves, but I will beat you with a baton. So, yes.
It's like having the baseball bat right next to the door.
Exactly. And just
do I want to lose this, or do I just want to mess you up?
Yes. And it's a lot more compact than a baseball bat.
Yeah. Especially those collapsible ones that
yeah, mine's collapsible, and then you just flick it out, and man, I've banged down on some things, and that would hurt being hit with that fucker.
Oh, I bet.
I'm like, I'm good. So it's really cool that we can carry all this stuff, that we have the ability to carry firearms to protect ourselves from, like our Constitution says, our Second Amendment.
Yeah.
Enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yep.
And, we're always fighting for that against people trying to take that away. We can sometimes take that for granted because we've always had that since the start of our country.
My shirt says it all.
Exactly. But not any other country does not have the Second Amendment. So they cannot just freely carry these guns like we can, even though we still have to fight our government for the right. There's other countries that
they just nixed it all. So
you can't.
F you.
You can't. Like our neighbors, Canada. So we talked about, I think we did a podcast back in early days about Canada and how they pretty much banned every single gun because they don't have mass shootings, but they had one mass shooting like forever ago.
Yeah.
And the leftists keep using that as an excuse to ban guns. It is really hard to own a gun in Canada, and they've made it even worse. So they did the sweeping thing of assault weapons, which again is not a right term, but whatever. So they banned semi-automatic guns, especially rifles, in 2020, even though they didn't really have any issues with those. But they don't have the Second Amendment, so the government there can do whatever they want, and they did. And so on top of that, there were a few gun models that were left out of that, and people, I think, probably found a way around it. Well, because it's Canada and they don't have the Second Amendment, this is what they're doing now.
Immediately, 324 unique makes and variants of what the government calls assault-style firearms are now prohibited. All newly banned models have semi-automatic action and sustained rapid-fire capability. And government officials confirmed Thursday these guns can no longer be legally used or sold in this country. These firearms join the list of more than 1,500 types of firearms Prime Minister Justin Trudeau banned the sale and use of in 2020. The government is offering owners and retailers of these newly outlawed guns amnesty until October 2025. While officials finalize a national buyback program. It remains to be seen exactly how many firearms will be turned over in time. But once they are, the government says they have a plan to get them out of the country and potentially onto the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war.
We've been working very closely with our friends in Ukraine to ensure that weapons that were intended to be used in combat could be made available to them.
This just goes to show you that politicians have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Those guns,
they're not weapons
even
of war.
though they think they're weapons of war for whatever reason, they're not. I feel bad for Ukraine if they get those guns. Because first of all, they're semi-auto, and the ones that are in this new list that weren't under the 1,500 or whatever that were originally banned are random calibers, are random, like they're not your AR-15s, AK-40s, because those were banned back in 2020. All the cool guns.
Well, you can take those and make them actual assault weapons.
Yeah.
And these, I'm pretty sure you probably can't.
Yeah, no. Like you saw a couple of those guns, it's like I've never seen that before, but they're not.
Yeah.
They're not guns you would find on the battlefield. Yet they're gonna send these over to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's when you're like, okay, there's a huge disconnect here.
Yeah.
And thank God we have the Second Amendment because that is a huge overreach by the government. So you want to disarm your citizens because you don't want them to defend themselves or whatever, use it for hunting purposes. You want to use their guns to fund
a war that you shouldn't be funding.
Yeah. So you want to send these guns, disarm your citizens and send them to another country to use to fight in a war.
That's crazy to me.
So unfortunately, it's not the cool AR-15s, even though they're semi-automatic. They're not the ones used in war, but those were the ones that were in that big, massive thing. These are the ones that are random calibers and random stuff that didn't meet the qualifications. But
because they look scary.
Because they look scary and they're semi-automatic, the politicians think that means they're automatic because you see all the time. You hear the politicians saying automatic weapons, even the news, they'll say automatic weapons. I'm like, no. That is not a semi-automatic. There's a huge difference.
Oh, there's a big difference.
But they don't. They say automatic and make it seem scary.
Because they're brainwashed.
Yeah.
And then it's easier to manipulate people. It's scary. It can kill you and your babies. And if they make it sound scary, then that's how they can get their point across. Mm-hmm. Even though they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
So as much as we bitch about, the leftists and gun groups trying to take our gun rights away, we still have to honor the fact that we could still have these.
Yep.
The government can't just up and ban these. Like, you have to go through a process, and
that process would take a lot.
And I don't think our citizens would just sit back and take what Canada did, because it is next to impossible to get a gun in Canada now. I mean, you're probably limited to...
And the crazy thing is that Prime Minister back in the day said that they would never ban guns, that it's part of their culture and that they got to have them for survival and things like that. And now he's banning all of them.
Isn't that what Kamala said? Is that she was never going to ban your guns or come take your guns away, yet she also said that...
Yeah, and then she turned around and said, well, I got a Glock.
Yeah, she was like, oh, we're not coming after your guns. But then she also... when she was running for, what was that, 2020?
Yeah.
Against Joe Biden, she was like, Joe, don't say we can't because of a constitution. Joe was like, hey, we have a constitution. She's like, don't say we can't. Say we can.
Yeah.
So she wanted to come after your guns for sure, even though she was like, oh, I own a Glock. Sure you do. You just know that is a popular brand and probably just say, you probably just know that because one of your security guards carry a Glock. Come on.
Yep. It's crazy.
So yeah, so unfortunately our neighbors up north, that sucks.
Sorry.
Yeah, whatever ones that you had that kind of didn't meet the qualifications of that massive one back in 2020, now you're really screwed. Man, and if you're in Ukraine and you're going to get those weapons, you're really screwed too. I would not want to be in a war zone with a semi-automatic AR.
No.
Unless we're like being invaded, and we have to use those to defend ourselves when our military can't keep up or something happened.
Last resort.
Do I want a semi-automatic in war? No. Which is why that is the civilian version, which is totally legal. Yeah. So I think we just, unfortunately, sometimes we take it for granted that we do have this and that we can own this, even though we do have to fight for it all the time. We're still able to own these guns, the guns that are behind us on the wall. Unfortunately, most countries can't.
Yep. Even some of our states can't. But
yes, because those aren't really part of America. They're some other country.
Yeah.
They should be. Maybe we'll get Trump to annex those.
Yeah. That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Make them their own countries. I mean, everybody's moving out of those states anyway. Yep. Everybody's moving out of California, out of New York. And unfortunately, going to like Montana and all the other states and Texas especially.
Yeah.
And some of them are bringing their stupid politics with them.
Like, you left that state for a freaking reason.
Yeah.
Most of it's politics. And then you want to bring it to this state? It's,
But it's like, man, the people, and I've seen some other politicians, obviously, that we talked about here, when they talk about firearms and all the stuff that want to ban them and why, get it right. Like the difference between semi-automatic and automatic, they always just automatically go, oh, it's an automatic weapon. No. If you're going to regulate this stuff and try and ban this stuff, at least get the knowledge and do the research to know what's the proper terminology. Like magazine versus clip. That drives me absolutely fucking insane. You should know the difference between a magazine and a fucking clip. Goddamn. And just like you should know the difference between single action, semi-automatic, automatic, there's a huge difference.
Yep.
Can we own automatic weapons? Yes. But there is a long process and they are super expensive.
Yep. I mean, they don't even know what the definition of assault rifle is, so what do we expect?
If they saw our video in our wall behind us here, they're like, oh my God, they have like 3, or actually probably more than that. They're like, oh my God, they have like 5 assault weapons, automatic weapons on that back wall. No. Most of them are semi-automatic. I do have a bolt gun up there, but semi-automatic, there's a huge difference
and
between
they're all rifles. They're not assault rifles.
Exactly. We just got to count our blessings that we do. Our forefathers were smart enough to write that in, and even though, but and Canada, I mean, there's nothing. What are you going to do? There's no constitution.
All they're doing is making it easier for them to be invaded.
Right, and that's one thing. It's like, has Canada ever been in a war?
Not that I know of.
Maybe a long time ago.
Maybe, but have they ever been in a civil war? That's what I want to know too.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I don't know.
They can't defend. They probably didn't have the guns to defend themselves.
I don't know anything really about Canada besides it's north of us.
Yeah,
and their import laws
and their anti-gun. Yeah, supposedly super friendly and they talk funny.
Yeah,
and it's colder than shit up there.
Yeah,
they like their syrup, maple syrup.
Yep, and
then whatever else they make fun of them in Super Troopers. So unfortunately, that's the thing. Doesn't affect us, but it just shows us that
doesn't affect us now.
Exactly. That's what a lot of politicians would love to have happen here, which is why we have to keep fighting for our Second Amendment right. Even though it's a Constitution Amendment, it's always being challenged.
Like, I'm really shocked no one's tried to invade them.
What do you want? It's cold up there.
They got oil reserves, I'm sure. It's beautiful country.
It is during the 2 months of summer.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's cold and shit.
Yeah.
Cold and shit. Like, I would love to move to the Dakotas or Montana or Wyoming, but the winters.
Yeah, I can't do winters.
And that's not even
maybe that'll
Canada
be like
weather.
your summer home. Okay. You have summer and winter.
That's unfortunately what's happening. And
yeah.
I know Yellowstone's fictional, but it's kind of pretty accurate as far as what's going on there.
Yeah.
I mean, I came across some YouTube channel, and it's actually a bigger channel than I thought. It was like huge channel, but they were talking about a bunch of different stuff. And one of them was Montana specifically and how locals can't afford houses there because everybody else with money from like California, New York is coming in there buying, winter houses there for the summer. And driving up the prices. Like the average house price in Montana is so high, the locals can't afford it anymore.
That's crazy.
And they're building all these apartments and resorts.
I think they should have to show that they're a resident there for like 8 months out of the year.
No, you're allowed to own one house. If you own a secondary house, cool, but you're going to have to pay a shit ton of taxes.
Yeah. That too.
Kind of like what you done with getting it made sense.
Yep.
It's unfortunately because I think that show had a lot to do with it. You notice after that show came out, Montana seemed to blow up.
Yeah. I mean, it's gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
But winter would suck.
It would. But now it seems like you have to have money to do anything up there, to buy houses up there, to buy land up there. It's
unfortunate.
High, and locals can no longer afford housing there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like here. Like, we can barely fucking afford housing here. It's going up so much.
It's crazy. And then they keep wanting to do all this other stupid shit now.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
So I think a lot of people are realizing, how much politics suck and people suck. So they're going to these states that were, not as populous and are turning that into, like Wyoming. There's still a lot of open frontier in Wyoming, but it's growing like crazy. And a lot of it is unfortunately these stupid rich people that second, third houses, and they're going to bring their stupid politics there and fuck everything over there.
Too much fucking money. Yeah.
There was, they did a piece on that YouTube channel about one of the resorts up there that's members only. And like, you have to be like, you got to have a shit ton of money to become a member of this.
You got to be a full-time resident. What I would
it basically employed a lot of the city,
yeah.
But a lot of people that work there can't live there because they can't afford the housing. Even apartments that are going up there, kind of the same thing here, are so expensive. Like apartments here,
that's stupid.
Is at or more than my mortgage payment.
Yeah,
and I think that's stupid high. It's like, come on.
Yep. We went to war over a fucking little tax, and we get taxed so much. And someone, I don't remember who it was, we got in like an argument. He's like, "Oh, we need to be taxed more." And I was like, "What? We're the most taxed country out of the fucking world."
I get half of my paycheck.
Yeah.
Like I see what I make pre-taxes and everything. I get half of that.
Yeah. I'd love to have what I made before.
Like I get it. We got to fund stuff, but it pisses me off when we're sending
billions of dollars over to another country instead of taking care of the people here.
Exactly.
That drives me insane.
I just saw Joe Biden signed another thing to where he wants to send just shy of a $1 billion over to Ukraine. It's like,
dude, we've sent enough. Like at this point, just stop.
There's nothing left to save.
Yeah.
Like everything there's been destroyed. I get why we don't want Russia to win, but at the same time, use our tax dollars that we're paying out of our paychecks to help the people here.
Yeah, like the people down in Hawaii when it got all burnt up, or the fucking mass flooding that we had over in North Carolina.
Oh, that almost $1 billion could fix a lot of the properties here. But no, we're going to send it to Ukraine.
Not only that, like they broke it down. Like the first amount we sent to Ukraine, they were talking about how it would have ended homelessness in America completely. Could have built the wall like 80 times over. So you would have border security. You could have rebuilt infrastructures for like Flint, Michigan, like 200 times for their water distributions. Like it's crazy the amount of money we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can end homelessness. Like why wouldn't you do that? It's getting worse and worse.
Yeah, they're giving more to the migrants than they are the veterans that are homeless.
Yeah, like it's crazy to me. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, Biden just passed that one right before Trump got in the office because Trump's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. And he talked about, because he's all about the tariffs.
Yeah.
He had potentially talked about getting rid of the income tax.
I hope so.
Would be amazing, but
I actually saw an article of someone that worked for the IRS, and she said there is no law saying that we should have to pay income tax. There's no law anywhere.
Yeah, thank you. I remember you saying that.
I was like, what? Well, like, if there's no law, why are we doing it? Why is this just like one of those, what are they, like rules that are known but not known type of deal, you know?
That's why people forget cash is king.
Yeah.
There's no trace.
Yep. It's just nuts to me.
Yeah.
I wish we didn't have to pay taxes.
Oh, it'd be nice.
Yeah.
I get why, but at the same time.
Yeah, but
don't waste my money sending it to another country.
Yeah.
When you can help the people that
need it here. Yeah.
Their houses were destroyed. Their insurance isn't covering it. Why don't you spend $1 billion rebuilding those cities and towns and their infrastructure here versus sending weapons and whatever else they send over to Ukraine? Like, come on.
Yeah.
You think Ukraine is ever going to pay us back? No.
Nope.
Are they going to ever be able to? No.
That's my biggest thing too. Like if we did, like let's say something happens to us as the United States, all these countries who ever helped, are they going to help us?
How can they? Like Ukraine, say the war stops somehow when Trump gets in office, like he says, it's going to take them so long. We're going to have to send them more money to help rebuild.
Yeah.
And so, because I mean, everything's destroyed there.
I think we rebuilt Japan after World War II. We've rebuilt Ukraine. We've sent them so much money.
We can't even rebuild our own country.
Yeah. Like,
let alone expect people that we are in debt to.
Yeah. And that we've helped, they should be repaying us.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. That's so crazy to me. That part of the thing drives me insane.
Yep. But, so that's just what I saw recently. And actually, there's been a lot of other stuff since we've, been busy. Not being able to have a podcast. Obviously, we had the Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter after he said he wasn't going to do that over and over and over again.
Abuse of power.
I'm not surprised. Is any of you? No. Yeah, we knew that was going to happen. I mean,
he's been a liar his entire life. So what do you expect?
Yeah. And I get why he did it, because he's not obviously up for re-election. It's his son. Yeah. What are you going to do? So it's just... so
my question is, okay, he pardoned him for this. So what if they reopen an investigation later? Then is he not pardoned anymore?
I don't know. Or we find him on something else.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any questions for us, let us know. Whether you're watching on YouTube, you can comment down below. If you're listening to us audio only, again, go over to YouTube, comment, or go to our website, boomstick-tactical.com. There's an area where you can leave a voicemail, or if you're also looking for some cool gun stuff, click that current inventory and you can see where what we're selling. Just like that Glock 43 that was on here earlier. It is actually for sale. So, or if you live in the Kansas City area, specifically on the Kansas side, we do $20 transfer fees. So take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until next time, Chris.
Remember, this is a YouTube podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and tickle that bell. If you're listening on those platforms, hit that download button, please. And with that, everyone, have a good one.